Next is from David Bentz, and the subject is wrestling gimmicks in WWE. Dear K100 crew, I wanted your opinion how WWE doubles down the gimmick matches for both men and women in one night. Do you think doing two of the same match on the same card at time devalues the match in itself? Should the Royal Rumble become a two-night event? The crowd cheering a 1 hour match to start a show, then has to go through all that again to end a show currently. Should Money in the Bank no longer be a pay-per-view, but instead have two separate Money in the Bank matches divided throughout the year? Maybe one for the men at Mania and one for the women at SummerSlam. I feel the only gimmick match pay-per-view done right is Elimination Chambers. It's normally the last chance match for people to get a title or title match before Mania. Thanks for taking my question. What you say has merit, okay? However, Money in the Bank is an excellent standalone pay-per-view still. Joe, didn't look that up, Joe. I think WWE broke their arena record for the in the arena for the O2 Arena for Money in the Bank. Yeah. Did you see that? Yeah, they did. Yeah. So
it's 18,000.
Like the guy's trying to say, like, is it a good idea? Well, it works. You broke the arena.
I think it was their most profitable live premiere event ever. I think something. Yeah. What was it, Joe?
But most profitable live arena event. Obviously the stadium shows do bigger, but for an arena, bro.
18,877. It says.
Bro, you can't. Like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. WWE right now is not broke. There's really nothing to fix. Keep going until things look like they're starting to break, and then fix it. But like every pay-per-view, there's not an empty seat in the arena. The production quality is off the chain, and the crowd is off the hook. You know, it's like
their booking is good, their matches are good, their graphics are good, everything. They do everything top flight. Yeah,
they're a $9 billion company, and they're showing why they are. They're just nailing it. You know, and it is interesting too because, like, bro, 4 or 5 years ago,
they were brutal.
We would be ripping every show, like creative. It's just like it was terrible. And here they are, like 4 years later. The production, and they got so good they sold the company for $9 billion. You know, it's like they adjust, bro. That's the one thing that Tony Khan, has he has not been able to navigate his way through adversity yet. Vince McMahon has a 25 to 30 year history of navigating his way through adversities. You know, just like, bro, Vince learned a lot from getting his ass kicked by WCW. And like you see it now, it's like, bro, whenever AEW, remember when AEW got close to them, the ratings like about a year and a half, 2 years ago almost? They were like, I think they were doing 1.2 million. Raw was doing 1.5,
1.9,
and they got close, and then it was like, and now they widened the gap again because Vince just knows. He has a history of how to deal with adversity in the competition of professional wrestling. And I think Tony...
Not only competition, DI, but he also had to figure out how to reinvent things after the steroid trial, after the Benoit thing, after Hogan left. You know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, that's what
Austin left at the same time, too.
I know they're at odds, but Tony Khan could really use like an Eric Bischoff right now. A guy with a history of knowing how to deal with adversity in the business is like, and like how to turn things around, So it's like, I don't know. There's nobody, like, he's doing this on his own, and he's leaning on dirt sheet guys and stuff like that to try to help him navigate his way through this. It's like, bro, look at the history of professional wrestling. There's some guys that you could get that could help you and tell you what you need to do, which you're not doing right now. So we'll see. Because it's weird because. Like, I said that, like, we said on this show that, your fan base on weekly television are just not really going to care about forbidden, like the Japanese wrestling guys. Like, you're not really presenting them as major, you're trying to present them as major characters, but there's no, like, episodic storytelling with them. We're just introducing them, and we're letting them cut sound bites with subtitles and, they're doing run-ins and attacking guys, but there's not like a lot of interest except for a portion of the fan base that is into that. And the metric is like, because like their television rating is kind of like have stagnated even with the with the Japanese guys. They haven't gone up. They haven't coming out of the pay-per-view, the number wasn't good and everything. But the show sold out and did one of the big Coda, it wasn't one of the biggest houses in Canada history or something like that. Didn't they break a record or something to Toronto? Well, Joe, look that up.
Who's that? Forbidden Door?
I think the Forbidden Door house did a monster number. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the third biggest in Canadian history.
Right,
I mean, but it was AEW's biggest gate.
Right. I think the problem, and this is where we talk about like Vince has kind of the more the experience than Tony does. I think Tony is willing to pat himself on the back looking at that metric and kind of not worrying about how dude, your weekly TV ratings still are not, they're stagnating, they're not that good. It's don't take your eye off the ball here. Your issue is your weekly television ratings aren't good. I know you did a good number for Forbidden Door. Your weekly numbers leading up and coming out of it weren't that good, but that wasn't you did well on that show. So it's you need to kind of refocus on okay, what do we need to do to turn things to get more people watching our show? And it's you don't want to I don't know. It just seems like a lot of the decisions they make are run they just don't know how to get new fans. Period. And they look at things like the Forbidden Door, and it's those aren't new fans. Those are hardcore fans, and all the hardcore fans are invested in that. You found things that your fan base can even become more passionate about. But it's still just your fan base, nothing outside. And that's I think the problem that they face, and I think Tony needs to quit drinking the Kool-Aid when he sees a positive metric like that and realize that, dude, there's literally no reason, if you look at the talent between the two rosters, that AEW has tons of talented guys, a lot. And you don't need a lot of talented guys to do good weekly television. Look at WWE, most of their guys are good, but bro, there's about maybe 12 to 15 guys that are driving the weekly ratings on the show. Nobody's really, when the Viking Raiders are coming out on TV, nobody's really invested in that. They're on TV a lot and stuff. But the guys that you're invested in, I think what Tony needs to do is look, what's our core group of guys here? We need to go a good 3-month period of 12 straight shows, and this is our crew. All these other guys, sorry guys, you're not going to be on Dynamite this week, but and just keep investing in the guys that are proven to be over and have drawn numbers. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, you're always going to need a Vikings Raiders because you need a supporting cast. Everybody can't be the star. So, I mean, it ain't like when they come out, people are bored because they bring it, and really they do a lot of it crazy, but they do a lot. They'd probably get more over if they let them loose a little bit. But, they're probably getting paid well. They're happy. They're employed, and, they are being used.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about AEW. It's you could put the Viking Raiders on TV, but we wouldn't miss them if they're not on TV. Okay?
Right.
There's a lot of guys that they put on TV weekly on AEW, and then if they weren't on, we wouldn't miss them. Now they're on, and okay, big deal. You're keeping guys off the show that we do miss. You know what I'm saying? That's I think what their problem is. It's you're putting the Butcher and the Blade, in matches and stuff randomly when you could have you could do FTR versus the Elite tomorrow. You could do it. It's but I don't know what you're saving. I don't get it. I don't know.